is my presentation on Tehching Heshei. He was born in 1950 in Nanchao, Taiwan. He lives in Brooklyn, New York. Dropped out of high school in 1967 and began painting. And then in 1970 to 73, after military service, he held his first solo exhibition show. He stopped painting shortly after that, and he broke both of his ankles in his performance action called Jump. Then, in July 1974, he arrived at a port in Philadelphia and was then an illegal immigrant for 14 years until granted amnesty in 1988. This is that live performance piece. From 1970 till most current, he made 5 one-year performances and a 13-year plan, inside and outside his New York studio. By making life and art simulations, he has achieved one of the most radical approaches in contemporary art. Each one-year performance convenes different methods of documentation, challenging what it might mean to archive a life. His first one-year performance made him a regular name in the art scene in New York. His last pieces, where he intentionally retreated from the art world, set a tone of sustained invisibility. One of his first pieces is Cage Piece. It started on September 30th in 1978 as he entered a wooden cage he had built in his loft. It stayed there until September 29, 1979. During that year, he did not allow himself to talk, read, write, or listen to radio and TV. A lawyer named Robert Projansky notarized the entire process and made sure the artist never left the cage during that year. His loft mate came daily to deliver food, remove the artist's waste, and take a single photograph to document the project. In addition, the performance was open to being viewed once or twice a month. This is a video showing each of the images that was taken. Afterwards, he did a second performance piece in 1980 to 81. This one was connected to his previous piece with the aspect of time, passing time. While doing this first performance, he states, "I was thinking about wasting time. Before I had a studio, but I didn't know what to create. I was just wasting time, thinking, for years. Then I turned wasting time into art." He used this idea of time to demonstrate certain aspects of both pieces. But the perspectives are all based on the same preconditions. Life is life sentence. Life is passing time. Life is free thinking. For this piece, Time Clock, he focused on punching an office time card every hour, 24 times a day, throughout the year. From April 11 of 1980, every 60 minutes, only one sound woke him up, every hour. For each time punch, he was wearing a worker's uniform. He went to a gray-walled room in his Manhattan loft and stamped a time card. This action can be seen above on the left. A few seconds later, a 16mm camera captures a picture of him. The film can be watched as a motion picture, which lasts for about 6 minutes. In order to successfully pass this performance, Tehching had to undergo extreme psychological stress, as well as meticulously reorganizing his own life around the passing of the hours. This is a video showing that 6-minute film process.
Or repetition. Yeah, you can see. Okay. I punch time for every hour is a repetition. But another way you see it is no repetition because every is a new hour, and live we are in a process. My piece 1 year performed, 1980, 81. I punch time for every hour on the hour, 24 hours, and the process in a whole year long. The subject is about time, so I document is the one frame. 1 year I pressure to 6 minutes, and to see the process in 6 minutes for whole year. Every piece in beginning or the end, I make calm. It's most difficulty is sleeping time, right? So I have to wake up every hour on the hour. So I punch, then I waiting for next hour. Everyday life is the same. So most basically life is waiting for next hour. All work I do, I know it's very difficult. I don't feel, suffer that time. I don't feel that way. I have a pleasure to do a piece. 1 year is the human calculation of life in basically 1 unit, and this is Earth around the sun 1 year. So it's very good in piece art to talk about what life means. And to me, in my philosophy of my whole life work, I would say life is life sentence, life is passing time, life is a free thinking.
Afterwards, he did another piece called Outdoor Piece, where he forbade himself from entering any building, subway, train, car, airplane, ship, cave, and tent. This performance began on September 26, 1981, and lasted until September 26, 1982. He lived as a pilgrim with just a backpack and a sleeping bag. One other item he carried that distinguished him from a homeless man was one sign. The sign specified the rules of the performance that he was committed to, and he quoted, "I felt depressing after I finished this piece. I felt the same after the other pieces, because of emptiness, as well as having to come back to normal life and dealing with reality." Then, after that, he had another piece. It was called Rope Piece, which lasted from 1983 to 84. Both he and Linda Montano spent a full year tied together by the waist with opposite ends of an 8-foot rope. They lived together for a year but were not allowed to touch each other during the performance. The job is a very big challenge in dealing with society. They had a pay that only paid one individual, so they had to split that pay in half. They also had to get up at 5 in the morning and get on a train every morning. After his previous performance, Tehching spent a year without having anything to do with art. He denied any contact with art and refused to talk about making art. He wrote in his artist statement, "I just go in life." He had a no art piece around this time that was later followed by a piece lasting from 1986 to 1999. He promised to make art that would never be shown publicly. After December 31st, 1999, he pledged to never make art again. Then, in 2016, he described himself as being semi-retired. 30 years after his first year-long performance piece, his works were exhibited in different museums, such as the Guggenheim and the Museum of Modern Art. And then in 2017, a film made by Hugo and Adrian Heathfield called Outside Again on his performance pieces was shot in both Taipei and New York. After returning to the sites of his performances, he is prompted again to return to his thoughts on art and its outsides, long durations, and the testing of human limits. He quotes, "Since 2000, I have said I wouldn't create more artworks. But I'm not dead yet. I'm still alive, and I show my work. So that makes me a sub-artist, in my own words. In Taiwan, we often say, I'm just trying to make both ends meet, but I'm still alive. I'm still a witness, so I can give you all sorts of clues related to this crime scene." That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.